Call this meeting to order. The Hartsville Trousdale County Water Sewer Utility Board meeting. If we could open it with prayer. Mr. Jewell, will you mind leading us in an invocation? Again, you're it every single time. That's just. You're the only one I hit up though, so.
All right, bow with me. Heavenly Father, we pause now to give you thanks for this day and for this assembly. We ask your blessings on our deliberations, that we do things that are pleasing in your sight and helpful to the citizens of our community. Help us to speak clearly, to understand each other, and to learn to love. All these things we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you very much. We'll stand for the pledge. Roll call, and we do have a quorum. We just showed that Ms. Stafford is out at this time. I'll spare you, everybody. Next order of business is the approval of our January 2022 meeting minutes. They're in your packet. Tommy sent them in the mail. If anybody has any questions, changes, please let us know. Their motion.
Motion to approve the minutes.
I have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. And we have a second. Chambers. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next order of business is approval for our financial report for January 2022. Anybody have any questions? Questions, comments, motions?
Make a motion to approve the financial report.
Thank you. Chambers has the first motion. Do we have a second? White has the second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next order of business is our water loss report. I'm going to ask Mr. Tommy McFarland to lead us on that, please.
Yeah, it's around 30.5%. It's almost equal to what it was last time this year. When the weather breaks, we're going to try to go out in the areas where those meters are and do a little listening and trying to see if we can't find anything that to narrow down some of those numbers and see if it's actual flow or if it's leaks or not. It's hard to tell when you're filling tanks on them. And we get out and listen where we can at night, where we can hear better, and the weather gets a little better for that, we'll start trying to narrow them down. And we're scheduled for the valve to get fixed at the check valve is scheduled to get done. at the water plant. That hopefully will help the meter down that way. If not, we'll have to look further. Yes,
Anybody have any questions? All right, next order of business is our Mr. Evan White with Mid-10 Engineering. You are up, sir. I'll give you the floor.
I'll go through the projects that we got going and give you an update. Tommy called me maybe this week, I think maybe the 20-year plan, we're gonna get started on it. He said, go ahead and get going on it. We was waiting on GNRC to get their data. Basically that way we'd not be doubling up, but we're gonna go ahead and get started. Hopefully we'll have some of theirs to put in it. The 141. How long before I'll have it done? I had to look back at our scope. I think it was a couple, like 3 months or something, I think, from start to finish. Whatever I had in there, we'll get it done, so. The first part of it's gathering data from everybody down here, so it'll take a little scheduling, but. 141 TDOT relocation, that'd be the new road that's supposed to come through. We've been going back and forth with TDOT on that. We're in the process of us getting on board with them to take over and complete that. The water and the sewer, there's a little force main that's got to be moved. The rest of it's water. And of course, we're talking to them and they're on board with y'all going ahead and doing the crossing across the bridge to get a line across there. So we're working on that project. SRF, they've been sending documents this week. They've come back. They've now finally assigned us a funding loan number. So that's good news. And they're wanting that put on the documents, and we're having to update the documents because it took them so long to approve them. So I've got to get those documents back to them, and I'd say as soon as that takes place, and that's going to be tomorrow on our end as far as getting the documents back to them. They should be getting with y'all on your the agreement on terms, and from there y'all can start bidding it out. So that one's finally moving, and the building, as y'all can tell, is going up. And that's about all I got, unless y'all got questions on any of these projects or any others.
I spoke with Ray Render today, who's with Congressman Rose, and he said that he was hoping that this new project that they're going to pass, I think on Friday, they're working on it for Friday, to pass, might aid with some of the funding for the line to go across the bridge. And I don't know if that was a conversation that was misspoke, but I don't want to lose the opportunity if it is there for you to pull in with him. So.
Yeah, we've been in contact with him this week. They come in about the 9th hour and wanted us to come up with a cost estimate on what it would take to serve regional capacity, and that's kind of hard to do with 2 days. But we've come up with some rough figures to give them, but I think he's going to try to take that and turn it in. But we're only concentrated on y'all right now as far as turning in for what y'all need to satisfy him. That money is just a big pool of money. If it does anything to benefit that, then you can draw from it. So I'm not going to say he misspoke, but you can kind of use that money.
He was talking big numbers, so I didn't want to say him. I'll let it be in print, but it looked like he was really pushing for some stuff. So that explains his conversation. Thank you. And let us know if there's anything we can do for you.
Thank y'all.
Next order of business is our general manager report. And that goes back to Tommy.
yeah, this, we got this sheet laid out there for you. This is how much the bonus pay will be, as they had talked about it last court meeting. It's going up before them on Monday night. Miss Amy Thomas, we helped her get some of this data, and she provided this document for us to report to y'all. But that's what it will be if it passes Monday night. You can, if anybody wants to talk about it.
Questions?
What kind of came forward our Budget and Finance Committee was to prorate it over a 24-month period. And Mayor, if I misspeak, please correct me. So anybody that has worked through the entire COVID 24 months would get the entire bonus. Say they were hired 12 months into it, they would get half what the other people would be. A lot of the employees had questioned us, how come somebody that was just hired is going to get the same amount as somebody that's been here and worked the entire time? So it looks like, if I'm looking at this right, Tommy, how many people are you going to have that would not get the whole thing? Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. There's some full-time, some part-time, but so the majority of the employees is going to get the full amount. It's what we're finding across the board, I'm pretty sure. But just in case someone asks you about it, that's what's been proposed. I feel like that's likely to pass that way.
Anybody else have any questions? Comments?
And I'll just say one more, I think most all departments have just decided to do whatever the county has decided, how they wish to divvy it out, and how the plan they come up with is what everybody's tried to agree to go along with. And that's what I guess they're asking, maybe y'all to approve that as well, that way.
So you do need a motion, you need action on this?
Probably, I guess you ought to accept it.
We will be.
Whatever it comes out to be is how it's worded, Rex, basically. Because it's worded in a way here to whatever the county decides to do is what y'all, we basically, everybody's kind of agreeing to do.
We are using the ARPA funds to fund this. We will be providing the money. It's not going to come out of water board money. And so you will have to do a budget amendment resolution to accept that money in and put it in the right line category, so you don't get a finding on this from the auditors. It's not anything I don't think you have to do this meeting. I think it was as much to let you know where this was going at this point in time, or looks like where this is going. Mayor, do you think there's something that needs to be done today on this?
Well, given the timeline that we were looking at on the county side, is everybody be paid out by March 25th. I think we might need to go ahead. At the Highway Commission, we voted to go ahead and accept the funds on the condition that we abide by whatever final plan the county commission came up with. So I would, if we could, I'd like somebody to make a motion that we do some kind of official resolution or something of the water board that we would accept the funding with provision that it is given out by the final plan adopted by the county commission.
Did you get that motion written out? And do we have a first?
Was that a motion?
Was that your motion?
I didn't think it'd be proper for me to make that motion since this was all kind of my brain idea, my brainchild. So I thought I'd leave that to somebody.
Say the wording you'd like to hear again, Mayor.
Okay. That we will accept the funding and it will be allocated in accordance with the final plan adopted by the county commission.
Motion to accept the funding from the ARPA funds as per the final allocation by the county commission.
I would be glad to second that.
Thank you for the first and the second. Weber, Mr. Jewell. And have a vote for all in favor, say aye, please. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Mr. Jewell. Sorry, I think I mumbled that. That takes us now to our next order of business underneath the manager's report, Mr. Tommy. If no one has any other questions or comments about the bonus.
It's 2,000 full-time employee and 1,000 for part-time. That's what's proposed. And it will be prorated if they weren't employed less than 24 months. I would receive, what was it, 4.16?
4.16, 4.16% per month.
Right.
Thank you for that. And it's prorated, so 24-month period gets the entire bonus, but anyone who has been worked less, it will be prorated back to, thank you, at 4.16% per month, correct? Thank you. Mr. McFarland.
Yeah, you'll find in your documents a little drawing there of a small little section of our neighbor's land that he was willing to part with to help add to the building property to help the turnout where the drive-through goes out. It will probably be fine, but for longer vehicles, it would be difficult to long trucks, stuff like that. I think it'd be prudent to buy it. It gives us a little more buffer. He asked $2,000 for about, it's about 2,178 square feet. And before we finish any groundwork, it could be took care of in our project right now. So, yeah, and we just need to go to whatever the process is to go before the county to follow the rule about asking about the property.
Am I understanding that the request is to approve the purchase of this 2178 square feet for an additional buffer? I'll call it a buffer.
Buffer, yes.
I'll just call it a buffer for the water shop building. And I understand we're not going to need to do a line item transfer or anything like that, or you think we will?
I don't think it's, no.
At this time, it does not appear with the rate that he has requested.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And that it is already in that budget. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
I would just say that the board have to agree to the purchase price, and then that's going to have to be approved by the county commission to accept the property.
Agreed.
So I just want to lay out, that's what the process would be.
I would say I think it's very prudent to be able to get this property. I think that's a more than reasonable price. I don't think there will be any, there may be questions, but I don't think there would be any substantive opposition to this with the county commission. I really don't. I mean, this to me is a no-brainer, but I've been fooled before.
And I will say Tommy and I have worked together on this. He talked to the property owner. He and I both spoke to Mark Abatoy about coming in and doing appraisal. His feeling was $2,000 was a very reasonable price because he was going to charge us $4,000 to do an assessment on the property to determine the price. So he advised if we got it for that price that he thought that was a very good deal.
So take that while you can, offer it to if I can, we can get a motion to take this to the county commission.
I make a motion that the water board approve purchase of this subject to, I guess, approval by the county commission.
Thank you, Chambers. Do I have a second? the second, and all in favor, say aye, please. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all. Floor is yours, Mr. McFarland.
Excuse me. I just provided you with some information on our neighbor, our water rates compared and tap fees compared to some of our neighbors. There was some, I guess somebody might have brought up that we might need to look at it, or somebody might have questioned them, or maybe. But I pulled this data from our neighbors. Y'all can see where we kind of stand with our neighbors. And if you look at that, just a rate sheet that looks at where we sell water, and everybody sells, they do different. Somebody may sell give you 1,000 gallon towards your minimum bill. We give 2, some of them give 1,500, some of them give 2,500. But I just kind of, you see that little jagged line marked around our number there. It's kind of compares us in our areas of 2,000 gallons we give. We're probably right. I think we're the second lowest to Lafayette there on their rates, and everybody else is higher than us as far as looking at from 1,000 to 10,000 gallon in sales. You can look at the difference in cost. If you want to look, this is just for y'all's review. I thought we'd get it ready for y'all to look at it. Tap fees, there's another sheet showing the tap fees, what they're comparable to Hartsville, Lafayette, Carthage, City of Carthage, City of Lafayette, Castilian Springs, Cordell Hull, and then the sewer was at the bottom. And those are their rates that what they charge. I'm not sure, somebody might have told me, does that look right? Do these look right, do you think, too? I think somebody said Lafayette might have changed their tap fees. I don't know if I got the right data. I got it off their website. But I can find out if that's correct or not. But I think their rates are the same. They're as far as physical rates. And some of these that I don't know if Lafayette, the higher tap fees a little bit, they're higher here. Some of them may not provide the technology. They don't have the meter read technology, the stuff that we pay a little more for. And also, I also sent our data to the TAUD, Mr. Don Scholes, and they're looking at it too, to evaluate it in the way they would look at it. He's not got that data back to me yet, but he's looking at it. But if there's anything else y'all want us to look into, I'll be glad to. But and when he gives that back to me, I'll bring it to y'all to report what he finds about it. But we did turn that over to him, and how we calculate this, how we come up with them and all that. He's looking at all that. But that's just a reporting to y'all. It's because we thought somebody might have questioned them. Thought we'd compare them and give a little information.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention. I know that it's been a topic that we have brought back to the table in this body multiple times. The one other thing that I have received some calls on was the compatibility of the infrastructure, and did neighboring communities offer infrastructure funds to the water and sewer? So if there was an infrastructure fee for coming into the community and building, did the water and sewer, does Hartsville, Trussell County, do we receive some of those funds from that if there's an infrastructure fee? In comparison to some of our neighboring communities where it was rumored, I'll say it that way, that it was rumored that they would go in and those water departments would benefit. So that's just something, another comparison that I would probably add to the chart. I know, Evan, this was put on your to-do list and checklist for us to be presented to us with your report that you're building. If you'll just pull those together with that as well, that would be great. I don't think we're moving on this. I think this is just for information, because we kind of tiptoe around the conversation about it quite often. Where are we at and what do we need to do? And this gives us a good heads up of what we're going to see when Evan brings us everything.
I think the 20-year plan looks at projects that are out there, what the future needs, and some of those are known to us. Water plant, TDEX after us right now. to get, they want a plan in hand. I'm expecting a letter any day to tell us that they want something in writing, that we're planning to move forward with getting a water plant built. That's coming. And we know that that cost could be about 16 to 18 million dollars just for us. Now, it was 8 million back in 08 when they had a price on it back then, but that's how high it's got now from that time period. And Evan mentioned that about the conversation with Mr. Ray Render and Senator Rose's, or Representative Rose's office. And we're going to try to submit our stuff. The water plant's going to be part of our submittal to them. And I think we're going to try to throw in the unserved roads in that submittal and try to get that funded as well. And try to see what it's a 70, I think it's 75, 25, 75 grant, 25 payback. We have to pay that much.
He did say that there was some,
Each community in this regional thing is wanting their own projects done too, see? So we're trying to do a regional look, plus also the funds we're asking for will help our own community as well. So that's what we're working toward. And we got to have that submitted by tomorrow to him. And I think we've got that ready. And then like Evan said, he gave him a rough estimate on what he asked for about the whole area, which was a pretty big task to do in 2 days. But we are trying to submit our stuff for Hartsville in with this, with Representative Rose's representative turning it in on Friday.
so with that, he had some match money that had to be put in to acquire that grant. So do we need to start thinking about like the two options? No, I see a no in the back, so not yet.
Not until they actually say they're going to fund it, I guess, would be what it's federal dollars.
I just said what Mr. Render is looking into and what Congressman Rose's office is looking into. This is something they're going to propose to add into the federal budget. That it won't start to October 1st. So it has to go through Congress's budget process, and you don't know when that's going to be. Usually, I think he told us, usually these things don't get funded the first year, but they wanted to get a list and get it in the system. So at least if we're not done this year, then we'll move up the list for the next year. That's how it was explained to us.
Sounds good. Anything else, Mr. Rent?
That's all I had, unless y'all have any questions.
Yes, sir.
Get back to this sheet on the water and sewer rates. Carthage outside is showing less than Carthage inside. Is that a mistake, or is that, because typically your outside rates are always more. I know ours are 50, 60% more. That just doesn't look, that looks a little wonky to me. I don't know. But okay. Thank you.
You have anything else for me? That leads us to the moment of public comments. Does anybody have anything they would like to say? Going once, going twice. That leads us to our board members. Anybody have anything?
I'll just remind everyone that we are currently looking at how to use our American Rescue Fund. As I talked about last meeting, TDEC did give us our final allocation numbers. So we are going to get, I think it was around 2.1 million. They did drop our match requirement from 40% to 30%. However, if the county commission votes to use our American Rescue Fund to do it, we'll take another 5% off our match requirement. So instead of being 30%, it'll be 25% match requirement. That there are a lot of different projects you can fund with that. And that's why I think we really need to get that 20-year study done, see what we're going to put towards that and see what would be the best use of the funds. I personally am going to take this opportunity to advocate for sewer, replacing some sewer lines. Last time we had that looked at in 2017, approximately 58.7% of the flow into our system was rainwater getting into our system. So that's a real strain and takes away capacity on our sewer plant. And that has affected us on economic development out at PowerCom, our lack of capacity. So I know Tommy and Evan have looked at different areas and what might be the worst parts of the sewer line. So, and I know usually in the past, we've gotten CDBG grants to replace water lines to address water loss. Sewer lines didn't normally score well, so I think this is a real opportunity to get some of those sewer issues dealt with.
Anybody else have anything? That amount of silence, we have a motion to adjourn.
I make the motion to adjourn.
Thank you. All in favor, let's go.